Hello, everybody. So I'm quite tired. I'm mellow, I'm chill, but it's 7.32, baby. It's a new patch, and we got some new information for all y'all. So let's go ahead and go over some major highlights of what we saw in the update.
Banana slam jam.
So big thing is this flag bearer creep. They make it so that every minute, every other creep wave, there's going to be a little bit more power, HP regen, magic res creep. It just means I feel like if you ignore the creep wave or you leave your lane for a bit to go jungle or gank, that it's going to be a bit more punishing because the lane will push faster. Also, they changed a bit of the map in the Dire side. I honestly haven't gotten too much into it, but I'm going to say that the biggest map change is removing the small camps. Mid lane should be much more skill-based. Lane dominators such as Shadow Fiend, perhaps Huskar, I think will benefit a lot. Heroes like Ember that relied on the small camp to get to their timings might be struggling a bit more. So that's like my highlights for the general gameplay changes, other than the fact that Primal Beast got added to Captain's Mode. I would also like to mention that the change of XP required per level, you now no longer level up to 2 off of 1 creep wave in the mid lane. So that's a pretty big deal. It means maybe even like dewarding a ward at the start of the game, getting you an earlier level 2 could be massive. But overall, your levels are massively delayed. Every level goes up. So the games are going to be a bit slower paced in terms of leveling. Late game talents are going to be a bit less broken because they're going to be less reliable. And it's just important to kind of be ready to adjust your feel for the game. And if you don't have a feel for the game, then this patch buffed you because you don't have to change anything. In regards to items, BKB plus Refresher was the biggest thing. If you add the two together, it's an extra 150 mana cost to use BKB twice plus Refresher. So that whole combo got nerfed pretty heavily. Next biggest thing is the fact that all forms of lifesteal, you see it here, are slightly buffed, but then halved on creeps. So any heroes that's struggled with sustain in the early game from lifesteal, such as like Sven, Luna with the Mask of Madness, Faceless Void with Mask of Madness, they're probably going to lean away from buying these items. So we might be looking for maybe these heroes not even being very good, or just the fact that they might go for other items like Midas or Yasha instead. I unironically think that Midas securing a neutral item drop makes it much more realistic that you would want to buy one around 7 minutes, because you will immediately secure yourself a neutral item on heroes that have like strong laning stages with sustain. Come to mind is like maybe Wraith King, CK, this type of thing. So they released a bunch of new neutral items. I'd first and foremost like to say goodbye to our lovely fallen comrades, Chip Vest, Keen Optic, Oceanheart, as well as Essence Ring, Fey Grenade, Quicksilver, Amulet, and my favorite was Spider Legs. The item had to go, but we will truly miss you. And the Leveler, honestly, nobody really misses you. Weren't that exciting. But we did get some fun new items. A lot of them are really core-based, I would say. We replaced a support item, Keen Optic, with Lance of Pursuit, which is effectively a backstabbing Orb of Venom. And then we replaced Chip Vest with another regenning item. We replaced Ocean Heart with another stat item. We replaced tier 2 items with basically a new Keen Optic, but you're getting an Essence Shift for it. And then a lot of right clicker items, baby. Check these bad boys out on your screen. I'm just going to say that carries, Rejoice, supports, and utility heroes, you can suck it. I do like to flap around like a walrus or ogre seal, excuse me. You guys will notice that a lot of these changes are getting imported in through Ag's Labyrinth. So if you guys played that, that's really good for you because you have extra practice and understanding of these items and abilities. But let's go ahead and get into, I feel like we're doing like ASMR session with BSJ. But we're going to go ahead and get into really quickly, I'm just going to talk about the heroes I'm really looking out for in terms of buffs. So let's go with 5 heroes that got nerfed the hardest. Let's go through those. So Bristleback, number 1, they made it so his radius of his scepter radius went from 800 to 650, and it's only gotten better by a level 15 talent. And then they also made his War Path with the level 25 talent also just be significantly less damage. So the hero's timing is delayed, as well as the fact that his late game is just much less powerful. Also, oddly enough, it may not be a nerf in the future if we realize it, but Brewmaster basically, they stripped away his Ag Scepter and said, hey, instead of having 2 ultimates, you get to consistently have 1 Brewling. That's what this entire thing says. So the hero is completely different, unrecognizable to what it was before. I think it's a massive nerf. But honestly, you might have to consult a Brewmaster player. You guys may very well know that I am rejoicing. I have been waiting for this. Keeper of the Light cooldown went from 65 seconds to 85. It is absolutely crucial that this hero utilizes his ultimate in order to farm as a core. So you guys can also suck it, Keeper of the Light spammers, because it is a 40-second duration. It now has less than 50% uptime. Get out of my games, Keeper of the Light spammers. The next hero that got absolutely tossed into the fucking dumpster is Marcy. They basically made her dispose a slow and her rebound a stun. So now at no point in the game does she have a reliable stun. She cannot build a blink and scale. I believe this hero is completely unplayable. Probably the most nerfed of the entire patch. I'd also like to give a shout out to the toxic ranged offlaner specialist Razor. I believe he got demolished with this buff duration on static link being reduced to 9. His base movement speed reduced. Also our boy Viper with the nether toxin duration going from 8 to 6.5, but mainly the poison attack going from 18 to 24 at level 1. I just believe that these heroes are just not going to pack the early laning stage punch that they once had, and that was a huge part of what made them so popular. Pangalier's shield crash duration at max level went from 11 seconds to 5. This hero is in the fucking dumpster. So for the next subject of our video, let's talk about the heroes from the last patch that I believe dodged the nerf bat. So Tiny, you see here, he got nerfed. But at the end of the day, none of this significantly impacts mid Tiny. I think it hurts carry Tiny, completely dead because of the 30% attack reduction permanently, no matter what items he has. But mid Tiny will feel that about the same, but have more damage from Grow. And the toss mana will not be nearly as impactful for him as it is for support Tiny. So it hurts for position Tiny, but I think mid Tiny will still be very strong. Next up is Puck. They slightly nerfed Witchblade, not a big deal. Yes, the illusory orb cooldown was important, but they replaced it with a pretty good talent, even if it's not as good. So while Puck is worse than before, I believe Puck was so broken that Puck will still be played and still be good. Juggernaut, one of the most popular heroes of last patch, while he did receive a minor movement speed nerf and a minor movement speed nerf on his shard, as well as the healing ward radius, I believe the hero will still be very strong. He was at like a 54% win rate in pubs. I think he's going to drop to like a 52, maybe a 51.5, but I think he's still perfectly fine for your games. And Dawnbreaker. She got a minor base armor reduction of 1 and the Celestial Hammer at level 1, significantly less range. But aside from that, she actually got a buff on her Ags, and I think the hero will be the exact same starting maybe level 3, perhaps level 5. But I'd still be looking to see a lot of Dawnbreaker. I think she's not going to be ultra broken, but she's still going to be very strong. Heroes that I think got the biggest buffs overall. We're going to go with first, Crystal Maiden. They basically made it so her current laning partner goes from getting 0.5 mana regen from her passive to 1.2. So she's basically giving a free Basilius to whoever she's laning with at level 2. So I think she's going to shift from being a level 2 killing hero with both of her spells to synergizing as potentially a 4 or a 5 with any spamming hero in lane, and they're just going to outspam you, and I don't think there's anything people will be able to do about it, to be honest. 1.2 mana regen at like level 2, that is absolutely insane. Next up is my boy Leshrac. I think the fact that they've given him a bunch of base damage, and now also coupled with a buff to Bloodstone, I truly believe that with any saving support, even just a hero like Crystal Maiden in his lane, giving him a little bit of mana to work with, any buff that makes it either easier for him to live or a little bit of mana involved, I firmly believe this is the patch for Leshrac. I will be checking him out. I think it's just adding up slowly but surely. The next game-changing buff for me is Luna. At nighttime, her Lunar Blessing is now a global aura. I'd say usually by 5 minutes, you're either level 4, maybe level 5. So you're giving your entire team 20 damage at 5 minutes. I think that just basically gets map momentum snowballing. And then her new shard, while it seems worse than the old one is now replaced by a level 20 talent. So I feel like her mid to early game is a little bit worse for herself. But the fact that she's like buffing up her team to make space for her, she should have more space to work with. And then if she gets to that level 20 point, I feel like she's going to be one of the scariest late game carries in the game. Morphling. His shard now makes it that he can attribute shift while stunned. I think this is going to be an insanely important change for the hero. And welcome back, Morphling spammers, and also to all the boomers out there that this allows to now play Morphling. Congratulations, BSJ. I mean, boomers out there. You can now play Morphling because you can now, as long as you buy the shard, which gives you 6 agility and 6 strength, so it doesn't feel that bad, you will also be able to not have to react perfectly all the time. Another hero that got insanely buffed that I think was already on the verge of viability last patch is Sven. They gave him base health regen in lane. They gave him quality of life on his Ags. They buffed Warcry in multiple ways, and now God Strength with the talent is a 80-second cooldown, so he's basically operating on no cooldowns. So I think Sven is going to see a lot of play. I'm not exactly sure what the build is because Mask of Madness seems to be a bit but keep posted because I'm definitely going to be trying him out. Another hero we saw a lot at the Major that didn't have the best win rate in pubs, but I think truly is going to be a menace this patch is Terrorblade with these buffs. Just quality of life buffs from turn rate as well as health regen. And then the fact that they gave him any buff at all, to me, is insane because he was picked a lot at the Major with good success. And last but not least, for my buffs, I'm going to say Tidehunter. They gave him another stun on his shard, and then just buffs all around. They gave him damage block, more on his Kraken Shell, and then all of his talents got better. So I really truly believe that the team fighters are coming back. We see Tidehunter, Earthshaker got some buffs. We're going to see it, guys. It's TI time. The team fight is now. So I just mentioned all the heroes that I thought got buffed the most. But what you guys don't understand, because you're probably screaming at me in Twitch chat or in the YouTube video, you're like, please fucking mention it, BSJ, I've been waiting. The heroes that have changed the most. What I mean is they just do something they previously didn't do, whether it's very powerful or not. I want to talk about a few of them. So first and foremost is Undying. So his decay used to be where you gain the 80 health and then you lose it at the end. But now you no longer lose it at the end. So decay is effectively sustain, okay? So what that means is you can buy Soul Ring, spam decay, and I think you'll be able to sustain in lane. So I'm calling it, people. Core Undying with Ags, second item, is going to be the tits. Next up is Troll Warlord. Now that his Ensnare pierces spell immunity, he has insanely good matchups against Jug and Lifestealer and any other hero that purely relies on BKB. Keep an eye out for Troll. That's an insane buff against specific matchups. Special shout out to Skywrath Maid's Shard. It now works on damage rather than cast. Your ultimate gives you 20 stacks of intelligence and armor. Special shout out to PA, who gets lifesteal from her Phantom Strike, a sustained problem she often had in the early game. You can just go like Tread's Orb of Corrosion and have absolutely no issue sustaining as long as you use Blink Strike. So as long as you have mana, you're good to go. I don't know exactly how much of a buff it is, but Ogre Magi lost his health regen, a little bit of armor, but was given 20 base damage. I'm calling it right now. Ogre Magi mid, they buffed Midas early game. They gave this hero the ability to just max Bloodlust and hit people for 72 damage. You heard it here first, folks. Health regen doesn't matter in the mid lane because you buy bottle anyways. It's coming. It's the time. It's the year of the Ogre Magi mid. Monkey King Shard's probably one of the best changes out of all the shards for any hero in the game. They made it so his Q is basically a teleportation, like you can move to the edge of your Boundless Strike. This is good for aggression on anybody you stunned, but it's also good if you get gone on, your Tree Dance is not available because you're taking damage. You can now get away from a lot of things because of this extra mobility. Mirana now has way longer bonus duration on her leap. Look out for core Mirana. Lycan has now become the most annoying hero in all of Dota. His Howl is now global when cast at nighttime. I'd like to remind you guys that with the level 10 talent, Howl reduces attack damage by 60%. It has a 50% uptime. So if you have 4 points in Howl, starting at 15 minutes, you can just like 50% uptime for the rest of the game, that during night, like half the rest of the game. So half of the half, which is about a tenth if you do the math, you can reduce their attack damage by 60% and their armor by 7 anywhere on the map. Okay, guys, anywhere. That's crazy. Absolutely most annoying shit ever. I don't know why they did this, but I want to try Lycan at pretty much any role. Okay, I don't know, but I feel like the idea of reducing everyone on the enemy team's attack damage by 60%, 50% uptime sounds nuts. Even just for the sake of stopping them from farming, that sounds like crazy to me. A hero that I think is drastically changing slowly but surely in terms of the way he operates in Dota is Doom. So what they've done is they've given him better agility and better agility gain. So he went from being in the past a 0 base armor hero with no agility gain to being a hero with 5 base armor and decent agility gain. We're looking at a hero that I think is going to get played carry. So Midas has been buffed. Devour no longer dispels on death, so you're reliably going to get your timings even if you do die a few times early game. And now hear me out, reworked Scepter. It's now enemies within a 325 radius of the target. You can also doom yourself. You don't actually get doomed, but you become a 325 radius doom around yourself. It just enables Doom to actually run into fights for a long period of time and do what he needs to do. So I'm calling it now. I'm just trying it out. That Doom carry is coming online. You just have better agi scaling, and now you've got another way to counter all these Lotus Orbs and Lincoln Spheres in the late game. Okay, you heard it here. You guys definitely have to give a check out to the Drums of Slom Scepter for Beastmaster. If used properly, you can do about 2,000 damage to people with level 3 Roar, where you roar, axes them, and then hit them with the last 3 seconds of Drums of Slom. It's pretty insane damage. May also just be a meme. I want to try Axe Blade Mail Ags build. If you read all of his changes, they nerfed his stat gains and stuff, but they made it so all of his abilities have better quality of life. And then at level 10, they made it so he gets movement speed per battle hunger. So I think like a mid carry or offlane axe going phase blade mail ags might be legit. The hero I ultra want to try, I can't believe I almost forgot, guys, is Witch Doctor Voodoo Restoration now does damage to enemies, okay? As long as we can maintain this mana, I'm talking bottle, mana boots, soul ring, I don't give a fuck. You have 40 damage per second that also heals you. So you're winning trades as long as it's on. So I want to try this shit core. I don't know what it takes, but I'm gonna look into it. Probably not carry, but offlane or mid, we're gonna figure it out. Okay, we're gonna figure it out. But this seems insane to me that this now does damage. I know you're probably thinking BSJ, but this hero and this and that and this. I'm excited about the patch, BSJ. I understand, guys. I understand. I can't catch it all in this one video, but I promise there will be plenty of new YouTube content coming with my updates on the patch. Okay, I'll be talking about the heroes I want to play, the things I'm going to do, the things I'm seeing, the things that are working, the things that are not working. It's all going to be there, guys. So it's 6:30 in the morning. I love you all. I'm going to go get some sleep so I can make some decent content for you guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of shit. Thank you. Bye.